Hey there, Chef D Malfi here, and welcome to Plant-Based Made Easy. Today is Tuesday, and so we are going to make a delicious, easy, and nutritious lunch. I'm making for you a crispy tempeh and aioli sando. We're going to make a caramelized aioli with sweet onion, some cashews, some filtered water in a blender. It's really yummy. It's creamy. It's going to taste like it has been cooked for a very long time. We're going to make it rather quickly. And then we're going to crisp up some tempeh and add it to some cinnamon raisin bread with some other delights. And it's a really great sandwich. So let's get started. First things first, we need to make some caramelized onions. Generally speaking, these take anywhere between 25 and 45 minutes to make, but we're going to try to cut this time in half. I just really want to quickly say, I don't know if you can hear this. We have like this weird noise in the studio right now. It's because there's a ton of fire and wind in our neighborhood. And so you're going to be hearing maybe potentially a lot of wind and that weird noise. I'm sorry, I can't help it. Okay, the first thing that you need to do for this recipe is get yourself a delicious sweet onion. So here's a sweet onion. How do I know it's a sweet onion? Well, there's a couple ways. A sweet onion generally has this kind of brownish skin or peel. And then also it should say right on the label, right? And this says dulce or sweet onion, and this is a really delicious sweet onion. This is big. I can see that it's all kind of very firm. There's no places where the skin is opened or exposed. So this is a really great onion. And I'm going to start by chopping the top and the bottom off, and then I'll cut it in half on the root bulb side. Now, remember, if you're throwing away the skins in the compost, don't throw that away in the compost. That is not organic matter. This right here needs to be thrown away in the garbage can, and the rest can go into the compost. So peel your skin off of the onion. And I love sweet onions. They're the best. They're not spicy or anything like that. They really take on a sweet flavor, and they're really even sweeter when you cook them, caramelize them, or cook them for a long time. So I have two halves here. I'm going to slice them into half moons. Just place them down on your cutting board and make them sliced thin pieces. Now, really, this is for the cooking. You want to make them as thin as possible for the cooking process because, again, we're trying to make this caramelized onion go quicker than normal. So we're not sitting here for 45 minutes to caramelize these onions. And really the consistency of the onions don't matter so much once you cook them up, because you're going to place them into a blender once they've been caramelized with some water and cashews, and you're going to like spin them around and pulse them in a blender. So the size doesn't matter at that point. We just need them to be thin for the cooking process. So now let's cook. I have a saute pan here. I'm going to put my burner on a medium-high heat. And I love this caramelized aioli because it is whole food plant-based, meaning it doesn't contain any oil. Now, if you want to use oil, oil is going to definitely lubricate the pan and the onions. It's going to cook these faster because oil actually will create a lot more heat than water or broth, which we're going to use. But in this case, we're going to use veggie broth because it's really yummy. And this is what I'm going to use, the Pacific veggie broth, the little tiny boxes, which I really love because I only need half a cup. So I'm going to start with the onions, and you want to actually break them up because we aren't using any lubricant or oil or fat here. We really want to make sure that they don't get stuck. So break them up with your fingers, place them in. Cool. Now, I always say season as you go, yeah? So I want to season as I go. There's a lot of different kind of seasonings that you can add to this. First, I want to add some salt, which I have to grab, and some cracked black pepper, which I have to grab, excuse me. And I'm crying. Hi, Brian. How's Denmark? Hi, Natalie. Hi, Diane. Good to see you. All right, a little bit of salt here and a little bit of freshly ground black pepper. And the salt is a natural liquid extractant. So it's going to actually release the water in the onions. And it does that naturally. That's what salt does. That's why it's a great preserver. So you'll see here that the salt is really going to help to kind of release water into the pan, the water that is really from the onion itself. Don't really need oil, which is a great which is a great thing. I'm definitely crying. Sorry, got onion cries. Put my black pepper away for right now. I don't need it right now. All right, next we need a little broth. So I'm gonna go back to the full screen so you can follow along. I'm using this is the Pacific vegetable broth. It is USDA organic, which I love. I also love that you can pronounce everything on the label. So I'm showing you here, water, carrots, celery, onion leeks, tomato puree, and then within that, tomatoes, sea salt, citric acid, a little bit more sea salt, mushrooms, garlic, and spices. And then do you see this? It has like a little indicator where it says organic. That's what that asterisk is for. That is telling you that even the spices and the aromatics, like the onions, the leeks, the carrots, all of that, all organic. This stuff is really great. And we just want a half a cup. Before I add it, I'm going to give it a shake. Hi, Charisse. Good to see you. All right, I'm going to add half a cup of the veggie broth. And you can see before I add this, let me just show you how the water really kind of, look, now you can see these are like super moist. I promise that's not how it looked a second ago. Do you see that they're kind of glistening? That's the salt. That's the work of the salt here. Just like really removing all of the water. Hi, Mom. Everyone say hi to my mom. My mom tries to come on as many days a week as she can, and I appreciate my family's support. I really do. All right, so this is fantastic. It's working hard, as we say. You can kick it up too. Remember, we're trying to make this caramelize as fast as possible without burning. So I can see right now there's enough water in this pan, and I love showing you how much water was extracted just from the salt. I'm going to show you again. Look at all this water. It's really, really great. So this is going to happen rather quickly. And now I have my induction on a high flame here. Okay, I'm going to add another flavor agent before the veggie broth. I'm going to add either sage, which you can pick from your garden, or any dried spices and herbs. I think I'm going to add Italian seasoning here, which I get from Thrive Market. And I just want, it's about a tablespoon or so of herbs and spices. And I like the Italian seasoning because it has a little bit of everything. So 1 tablespoon. And this is going to be really nice. Oregano, basil, marjoram, sage, and garlic. So it's got that sage included, which is great. And I know it might seem like a lot, but remember, this is just part of the caramelized onion mixture here. The rest is going to come from the cashews and water. We'll talk about that in just a second. Okay, this is fantastic. Now I'll add my veggie broth, about half a cup. Great. That goes down. The rest of this broth I can save in my refrigerator, which I'll put down there now for later if needed. Cool. All right, so these onions will continue to cook down and get really nice and caramelized. It's going to drink up a lot of this broth now and just kind of sit and kind of have a pretty good simmer in this veggie broth, which is great. All right, next, let's talk about the other ingredients. So I have in my food processor, sorry, my high-speed blender. I'm going to pull it over so that you can see it with me. Here we go. Okay, so in my high-speed blender, I'm going to add some water here, 3/4 cup of cold filtered water, which I have. And then I'm going to use a cup of cashews. Now, I love cashews. I love when they're organic pieces, raw. These are good for milking, making milk out of, which I love making my coconut cashew milk. I make it every week. 1 cup. It's also really great for making yogurt and cheese. All of these recipes, by the way, you guys, are available right here inside of my Plant-Based Made Easy monthly cookbook. This is the October edition, issue number 3. And you can see the staple recipes include the cashew milk, the cocoa cashew milk, which is fantastic. It's like whole milk. It also includes the plant-based mozzarella recipe and so many others. I lost my page, but I need to go back to the crispy tempeh aioli sando, which we're at right now. So, and I wanted to show you where I get my cashew pieces right here. These come from the Almond Cow company that makes the Almond Cow machine. And the reason I like it is because they have 3 labels, which are all great: USDA organic, glyphosate residue free, which is super important these days, and then the non-GMO project verified. These are all really great indicators that these cashews are going to be super high quality and so worth it, you guys. These are going to be so much less expensive when buying in bulk like this, as opposed to buying little bits at a time from the market and, in little 8-ounce bags or whatever. I buy a big giant bag and it lasts usually the whole month. Now let's do a question. Okay, instead of vegetable broth, can I use reconstituted vegetable bouillon? Absolutely. The only thing that you want to think about, Mom, is that you don't want it to contain too much sodium. So if you're using the vegetable bouillon, probably a lot of us have that in our homes right now, especially for the holidays, or we will soon. Make sure you're really cutting it with a lot of water. And you're just watching your sodium level to make sure you're not eating too much, consuming too much sodium in one meal, right? And remember, this is just a part of the meal. This is just for the aioli. So we don't want this to be super high in salt and sodium because we have all the other elements. So just kind of watch that and really cut it with a lot of water. But that's a great way to do it. I love the vegetable bouillon because then I can really control the flavor. I can cut it with coconut cashew milk. I can cut it with anything, truly. I can cut it with water. I can cut it with lemon juice. Other types of, plant-based cream and things like that. So lots of different ways to, coconut milk works. There's a lot of different ways to cut the sodium. Cool. All right, so this is going well. So far, so good. We're almost done with the onions. And then the last thing I need is just a little maple syrup. And I'm going to use a little maple syrup right in the onions. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon. It's not a lot, but it just kind of like balances the flavor, which we absolutely need and want. We talk about balancing the flavors often because we want to make sure it's not overly sweet, but it has a sweetness to it. So it really kind of hits all the areas of our palate and it makes this craveable. It makes it really yummy and our palate will know right away, ooh, that's a balanced flavor. All right, do I have everything in here? I think I do. All right, so now I have the cashews and the water right here. Now I need a little salt in my high-speed blender as well. And I'm just gonna use like half a teaspoon or so. And then a little bit of lemon juice. So I have a lemon here. This is super duper juicy, I can tell. I'm gonna use probably the whole thing. I'm on about 3 teaspoons. That's like 1.5. And that's like the other 1.5, perfect. 3 teaspoons, AKA 1 tablespoon. In my compost, that lemon rind goes. Cool, now I'm gonna buzz my cashew water mixture here with salt and lemon. And I'm just gonna pulse it for a few seconds. All right, so the goal here is to actually blend this until it's nice and smooth. I really, really want this to be smooth. I can't actually finish this. Let me switch. I can't actually finish pulsing until I know that everything, all the cashew bits have been kind of smoothed out. The goal here is to make this like kind of like a creamy dairy, kind of like aioli emulsified sauce or liquid without it containing any emulsification or any dairy, of course. It's all cashews and water and lemon. And that together is going to create a really nice creamy mixture. But you have to pulse it a few times. So here we go. I think there's a way for me to like boost this. Yeah. There we go. We boosted it. Okay, I think this is done. It looks super creamy. I just want to check with my spoon. Now there's a cool French term for this. It means nappe. And so we want to check to make sure look at the right camera. Check to make sure we are nappe here. And nappe means it sticks to the spoon. And it does. It looks kind of creamy and delicious. I'm going to give it a taste. Oh yeah, even just that. Lemon juice, cashews. So good. Okay, it's done. Yum, that's really, really good. Okay, I'm gonna pulse it one more time. I can tell that there's like kind of some granular bits, but I'm gonna pulse it one more time with the onions. So now that the onions are nice, I can tell that they're completely cooked because I can like lift one and look at it. I just tasted it. Yum. Yeah, it's got a nice salt. It's got a nice vegetable kind of broth. It's got a nice like sage and Italian seasoning mixture flavoring to it. So it's great. All right, so this is going to go right into the blender. Be careful because this is hot. It's sometimes really dangerous to blend hot things. So we're going to be really, really careful. Cool. Put the top on. Blend this. I'm going to pulse it. And that's it. We just kind of want the onion mixture to be really nice and mixed, blended well. I'm going to clear the decks here. I'm going to switch my saute pan. And I'm going to taste with another tasting spoon. This mixture. I want this caramelized onion mixture to be oniony and delicious. Oh, yeah. Wow, the best part, totally, the best part about it is the lemon juice. It really kind of wakes it up. I'm going to go a couple more pulses. That's it. Yum. This is good stuff. It's great as a dip. You could serve this with crudité, like delicious vegetables, raw or cooked. It's could be great with like potato chips, I'm sure. This could actually get baked in the oven. You can put this in a little ramekin, top it with those crispy fried onions. You know, you see those canisters of them all over the markets right now for Thanksgiving time and the holidays. Get yourself some of that. Just bake this off 375 degrees. 40 minutes, you'll have this bubbly caramelized onion dip. Yummy. But there's lots of uses for it. We're going to use it as an aioli or a sandwich spread today. And it's going to get even tighter, thicker, more firm as it sits in the refrigerator. So for right now, this is good. We're going to put all this stuff aside. And we're going to move on to our tempeh. All right, let's talk tempeh. I absolutely love tempeh. What just fell? Something fell. Oh, well. And if you aren't familiar with tempeh yet, let me introduce you to it. Introducing tempeh. I love this. This is Light Life Tempeh. This is one of the brands that I get that I really enjoy. This one I got from Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's also has their own brand. It's white labeled. It's probably someone else's. It might be Light Life's. Anyway, you can get lots of different tempeh in market. And what it is it's fermented plant-based protein. It usually comes from grains and soy that's fermented into a brick form. And here's what it looks like. And I'll just take it right out of the package here in a second, but I just wanted to read the ingredients. The ingredients here are organic soybeans, organic barley, organic brown rice, organic millet, and that's it, and some water. And so it's 3-grain tempeh. That's why this is called 3-grain tempeh. And it's 19 grams of protein per serving. And a serving is about 3 ounces. And there's almost about 3 servings in here. So it's really good stuff, you guys. It's really chewy. It's nutty. It's fantastic. It kind of tastes a little bit like bacon without the smokiness. Think about bacon if it didn't have any of the seasonings. And we're going to just prepare it in a saute pan. We're going to crisp it up with a little bit of oil, or you can do it in a dry pan. But I'm just going to use a little tiny bit of oil. And I also wanted to show you a cool product that I got. Let me open this up first so I can show you the actual brick, what it looks like. Okay, so here is our brick of tempeh. Fantastic. It's really good stuff. You can use this for lots of different things. You can crumble it. You can put it as make it like a taco filling, kind of like ground beef. You can make it like a ground meat or protein for a pasta sauce. You can slice it and fry it, which we're going to do today. And we can also make bacon out of it, lots of different uses for it. You can also make your own tempeh. And here's what the block looks like. Again, this is the full block. What we're going to do is actually just slice it into little tiny strips, just like this. And then we're going to fry these in a saute pan. You can also, like I was just about to say, you can make your own tempeh. And that's what I have here. I wanted to show this to you. This is a tempeh starter culture, and I absolutely love this. This is really a fun, I love this company. It's such a fun company. It comes from Cultures for Health. They have lots of different cultures. You can get a yogurt starter culture, sourdough bread starter culture, tempeh culture, lots of different kinds. If you're wanting to check these out, you can check my Amazon shop, you guys, my Amazon influencer shop, Chef D Malfi. I have a ton of awesome products like this on my shop, as well as all my kitchen equipment. But I highlight these in particular because these are kind of like really cool gifts to give to people, the foodies in your life. And this is how you can make homemade tempeh. And you can use kind of any grains that you want. All that is in here is the rice and soybeans and then the culture. So you can add things to it like millet and barley or anything. You can add lentils. A lot of people have asked me in the past, can you actually have tempeh that is soy-free? You can. You can actually get ones that are soy-free in market. And you can also probably find cultures that are soy-free. Or you can, if you can have a little soy, you can use this and then add other ingredients. Like I said, all the other soy-free ingredients, the millet, the barley, even wild rice, lentils, blah, 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 all of it. It's super fun. So I'm just going to leave this here so you can look at it in case you're interested. There it is. And then let's now crisp up our tempeh. So I'm just going to let this pan get nice and hot. I'm going to use a little avocado oil, but you can actually just do a dry pan if you want. I'm just going to use a little avocado oil, so we'll go fast. And I'm not whole food plant-based 100% of the time. I'm only whole food plant-based occasionally, but all of my recipes are really easy to adapt for whole food plant-based. So, and a little oil for me is a-okay. But if you are feeling like you are trying to do oil-free or you can't have oil or for whatever reason, you can do this right in a dry pan or with a little veggie broth or with a little water. But I like to do it in the dry pan method. It just takes a little longer. So I'm waiting till this gets nice and warm. It is now. And I'm just going to pop these pieces down. It's kind of like crisping up bacon. Right? Have you guys had a tempeh that you like? Are you into tempeh yet? Is this something that is a part of your plant-based diet? Some people don't know how to begin with it. So this is a wonderful, easy recipe. Yes, you can eat it raw. That's a question that I often get as well. But I much prefer it when it's a little bit crisped up, just like this. Cool. Yeah, so I'm just going to let this do its thing. For the other ingredients for the sando, I have some other really yummy ingredients. I'm going to start with some cinnamon raisin bread. That's going to be the base here. I love using cinnamon raisin bread. And this is a perfect opportunity to use it because it kind of is great with that caramelized onion, the caramelized onion mixture. So it's the sweet and the savory. Pop this aside here for a second. And I think I'll start building. Let me grab another spoon. So I want the caramelized onion mixture. Coast to coast here. Don't forget it. I want every bite to have a little bit of the caramelized onion mixture. Go ahead and add as much as you need to go coast to coast. That just means all the way to the edges here. Now, I would love for you to add a little greens to your sando if you can. Arugula works really great. Today I'm going to use some red leaf lettuce because I had it and it's really yummy right now. I'm going to grab tongs. Make sure you're using heat-resistant utensils when you're cooking with high heat. It really makes a difference. You really don't want your cooking utensils to melt or chip as you're cooking. This is not quite ready quite yet, so I'm going to continue. Let it keep going. It's on a pretty high heat, so we should be good. Now, the next thing that I want is the red leaf lettuce, which I have here. You guys, if you want to, this comes from my CSA Farm Box. If you haven't heard me mention this to you yet, let me say that I have a discount code that you are totally able to use. If you're curious about what a CSA box is, check it out. This is from Farm Fresh to You, which I love. And I get them a farm box every single week, and I just mix and match different ingredients, stuff that's kind of available throughout the seasons. And I love the red leaf lettuce. It's so flavorful, and it's gorgeous. It's one of my favorites. So that's perfect. And I've washed this. Doesn't it look pretty already, right? Yum. All right, this tempeh must be ready. Now, I didn't add a whole lot of oil, so I'm just going to get a little bit of a crispiness, but that's good. That's just enough. Now you can see these are kind of nice and crisped up. I think I crowded the pan here, but you get the gist. And because we're using the cinnamon raisin bread, you guys, this is the Ezekiel flourless sprouted cinnamon raisin bread. Comes from Ezekiel, which is the brand. Absolutely love it. They have a sesame, they have a low salt, they have a flaxseed, they have a, I think then a cinnamon raisin, which is my favorite. Oh, come on. There we go. And then the last thing that I want, because we're using a cinnamon raisin bread and the caramelized aioli is going to be so good, we're going to actually use a red apple and we're going to slice it thin. And this is really going to make this sandwich. So this is a wonderful, I don't know what kind of apple this is. Honeycrisp, I believe. I'm just going to slice it thin. Some for the chef. Yum. Tangy. Yummy. I'm layering the apple here. Cool. Okay. I was going to go on the sandwich, but then it went in my mouth. All right. This looks great. Grab some tempeh. How many would you put on the sandwich? As many as you can fit, I think. Safe to say, as many as you can fit. Turn this off. This looks fantastic. Place my tempeh down. I like to kind of crisscross them so that they stay. They kind of like, are forced to stay on the sandwich. Actually, I'm moving the apples or else everything's coming off. There we go. All right. Yummy. You guys, I know that this looks good to me, so I hope that it looks good to you. Close off the sandwich. This is a really tall sandwich. Look at this. Yum. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to slice it in half. Let's see if I can do this without ripping it to shreds. I think I'm just going to have to go like this. Yeah. Did it. Now, toothpick would be perfect right about now, but I don't have one, so I'm flipping it. And here you go, crispy tempeh aioli sando. This is everything. Little cinnamon raisin bread, crispy tempeh, caramelized onion, aioli, a little apple. This looks really, really, really good. You know, I have to give it a try. Quality control. So here we go. Before I do, I want to give this food a little gratitude. Thank you, sando. Thank you, God. Cheers. Mm. Mm-hmm. That caramelized onion and aioli. It's a winner. Really good. It's savory. It's sweet. I crave this sort of sandwich all the time. It reminds me of having a sandwich like when I would eat sandwiches when I was eating deli meats and stuff like that, and bacon and sliced turkey. It reminds me of that because it's got that, like, sweet and savory combo. It's really craveable. It's really yummy. Try this recipe, you guys. Crispy tempeh aioli sando. You will love it, and hopefully your family will too. And try it. Make it for your kids. Make it for your loved ones. Share it with people. I'm glad this looks good to you guys. Yay, yay. If you guys want this recipe, check out my Plant-Based Made Easy cookbook, which I've already mentioned. It is a digital download. I just print one out. You can print it out too in your own home. But the best thing to do is actually put it on your phone. You can put it in your book section of your phone, either your iPhone or your Android. And it's great because it has a weekly grocery list where you can take it to the market with you. And it has everything in order by section. You can buy everything that you would need for all of the recipes in the week, or you can pick and choose what you want. But check it out, you guys. Tomorrow, we're going to be making a really fun Halloween festive dinner, our mini mummy pizzas. So join me for that. And if you haven't done so already, make sure that you vote. Please make sure that you vote. I don't know if we're all on the same page, and that doesn't matter. But remember, when you're voting, vote from your heart. Remember that you're voting for our future. Keep that in mind, you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.